Hi, living in Boulder vlog for the children. Turn comments back on YouTube. It's 2:30 in the morning and it's the day of the 8th, but this is the video for the 7th of November 2020. It's Saturday, but right now it's Sunday. So I might go more today. Maybe I should do a screen capture of how far I gone along. I'll do that from now on. Screen capture how many long gone along. I don't have it ready yet here. So I got up at like 10 today. And I was up until like 2, so like 2 to 10. Got up and working a little bit, and then my mom calls and she's like, "Oh, let's go on me with my errands today because I want to do celebration around the town, see what the town's doing." Ooh, my hand hurts. Ow. And so, yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. Because, you know, I like hanging out with my mom. Been doing a lot. We hang out so much. It's fun to hang out. We just hang out. And, yeah, plus it's good for me to get out. So I walked into the Boulder bookstore. She had to get something or something like that. And then went to Sprouts on Baseline. And then drove back just past the courthouse to see if there's people standing around or whatever. But people were honking their horns a lot driving downtown. And then in downtown, another part of downtown, there's this lady, old white lady, holding a Trump sign, dancing and smiling like she thought she won or something. So that was weird. Heard somebody yell at her, "Get over it!" And I told my mom that. So then when we drove back around, she goes, "Get over it." Then I was working some more, and so the work that I'm doing now is I'm still working on the buildings of the New York. I can't for my Exceed 4,000 building on Atlantis for Google Earth. For my website compounds.com. I can't. It's particularly time consuming, but because I'm having to add each level, I'm building them with a polygon tool. And for my buildings in New York, I built all the buildings in New York. If it's for whatever reason, if these files are too big to upload to my website, I'll just have to break them up into whatever bits and pieces I have to break them up into, cut the images out of them that I use to trace that are on the ground, which would be convenient to have, for somebody to look at it, just to see the photo. It says right there, you can just take the ones off of it, see the photo below, but it's not necessary. So yeah, I just cleared it up and upload whatever bits and pieces I can upload. It'll let me, whatever the limit is, and then have that for download. It's just I don't know what the limit is. Don't know what the deal is with that, but I'm not really motivated to fiddle around with making links to download until I have my stuff ready and I know how I'll organize it anyway. So today, yeah, it's particularly time consuming because I built the buildings in New York and then in the Exceed 4,000 building before they were in different images, the ones in New York and the ones in Exceed 4,000. But then today, last night and this morning, took forever because it's 143. I put them in the same folder. So it just says this building. You go in the folder, and it says here for New York and here for Exceed 4,000. It used to be, in their own. So it makes it easier to build because then I can just click and see it. I should have done that before, and I think I have it saved also, so that I can offer for download just the New York one but for people who want the smaller file and they're not interested in the Exceed 4,000. But Yeah, and the file is smaller in New York because I built it the quick way in New York. I have all the different levels. I'm doing this because I'm trying to squeeze the tears out of my eyes. I don't know. Pouring, having the different levels, like ledges on the buildings, but I don't have each level shown. I just like the World Trade Center, which is just a square. It's just the height, like 415, 420 meters. And that's it. So it just looks like a big, tall, skinny, black blob chunk. But on my XC4000 building, I'm doing each 5 meters. You can see the white line that goes around all the way up to the top, which makes it more realistic because you can see the buildings that way in real life. You can see through the glass and see the levels up there, and it helps it, makes it more realistic. And when they're all like that, it makes it real realistic. Yeah, it's way better. But the problem is it's going to take a whole lot longer to build those buildings on the XC4000 building than on New York. Because in New York, you just build one. On the XC4000 building, I have to build, like if it's 420 meters, like the World Trade Center, every 5 meters, that's 84 times. So it's just, Control C and then Control V 84 times. And then you have to hide it to number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 5, 10, 20, 15, 20, 25, 30. And so you have to do that with 143 buildings. A lot of the buildings have different, shapes and ledges that go up that you have to double up because the way they go out, they point out. They don't. You have to do each level on each of the different wings that come down. So those ones are a nightmare, and I'll try to minimize those. Like the Empire State Building was a little bit like that, but I think, but yeah, some were worse. But so it's just one of those crazy time-consuming things that just drag on. A lot of things this is why the building's going to take at least a month to finish. If this drags into halfway through next week, it'll take more than a month. I'm not going to be done with the whole thing in like a couple of days if this drags in too long. I was hoping to get done by Sunday. So today is officially my Saturday. Tomorrow will officially be my Sunday. So I know that even if I'm not done, I'll be really close to being done just from the progress I'm making. You get faster as you go along because the buildings get shorter. But I'm glad I built the ones in New York first because I'm practiced and I can make the other ones better. I'm more in the mindset, so I can make them more high quality. And those are the ones that are more important anyway. The ones that I built in New York are mainly just to show which ones I'm talking about because you can make those with the 3D anyway. But it's good to know 3D. Look at 3D and then with the polygon tool at the same time. I think the polygon tool has some advantages actually over what they have because they have is cluttered and can't really, just different parts of it don't call out to you as much, but the different levels and can call out to you more if you use the coloring with the polygon tool than even those images. But those are really impressive what they do with those 3D buildings. It's almost like you're actually there. It's amazing. I want to fly through New York a little bit more, look at the skyline, even get to ground level and find my favorite spots to look at the skyline. That's what I was doing today. It's just a lot of work. I was listening right before I made this video, this book about the brain. And I'm actually glad I'm listening to it. I'm listening on YouTube, but I have a credit on Audible, and I think I'm going to buy it for Audible because I feel bad about listening to somebody's book when I could just buy it on Audible. It's not like I'm that broke. But the cool thing about Audible is they have the chapters, divided. And so you can actually see and you can reread and find one of these books. Because this book's really interesting. And it plugs into my idea. I have a page on my website, the Biweekly History Test, where I'm talking about like memory, and there's different types of memory, whether it's fresh memory or overall memory, and people should talk about that more when it comes to education and spitting back information.
There should be two different categories, and people should measure the same thing with both categories, and so that people can, exercise both types of teaching and learning. It goes in hand. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get the book so I can, because they're talking about, studies, like you use less brain power when you're driving. I need to make an argument that we need to be listening to books while riding our bikes, and that it doesn't take too much brain power, make you get in a wreck, and they can use each other. And I can explain how that happens. And brain power and exercise isn't a zero-sum game. They complement each other. Yeah, but before that, I kind of wasn't really listening that much. A lot of silence. Because I was kind of, I guess, concentrating a lot, with the designs. A lot of the buildings I didn't make exact, but I got the general idea of them, which is good enough. I'm going to go have a shower now and then work a little bit more. Maybe I'll lay down and have a little bit of a break, but I'm pleased with my work ability, ethic. And how the project's turning along, but it's dragging on. But if I'm not done by Sunday, I'll be done by Monday. I think I'll power through these and possibly get done in 1 week, by next Sunday. The whole thing. We'll see. In the downstairs, it's not down on the floor of the Exceed 4000 where the New York is. It's not just the buildings I have to make. It'll be the other buildings. But the other buildings I make, and I think I will stagger them every 5 meters. Won't take nearly as long, even if there's a bunch, because they're not that high, But I get to. It's an interesting design. I'll explain it later. Utilizes spirals, stars, circles, all in the same design, and cones. And then of course the designs of the buildings. Okay, so that's enough talking. I am going to have a shower now. Have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow.